Anyone talk about this? Scientists have just discovered a gigantic ocean 430 miles beneath the Earth's surface. Let me break this down for you. They went down 430 miles in the ocean and found an ocean inside the ocean. Does this mean the Agartha theory is real? Just a quick recap. The Agartha theory is that there is a legendary city said to reside in the Earth's core. Because think about it, how can you find another ocean inside the ocean? Everything you knew about the oceans is wrong. The scientists said that you could take all three of our oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, and the Indian, and put them together, and this new ocean is still 3 times bigger. This is what you're probably thinking. So they got to the bottom of the ocean, and then the water ended, but they then find another ocean. This raises a few questions. How do you go 430 miles beneath the ocean? Does the water stop at some point? And now we get to the craziest part. And if there is water beneath the oceans, could that mean there is land beneath the surface?
Is it like the Upside Down in Stranger Things? Where there's, like land, then water, then water, then land? I saw something about this, I think. I don't know if it's the same thing. It could very well be a different thing. But I saw something, it might have been the Y-Files or something, that talked about, it was basically a misunderstanding or a misrepresentation of the amount of water. It was that much water, like more water in the Earth's core or in under the surface in all the oceans combined, but it's like spread out, right? It's like all the water, all the moisture that's actually available within the I guess like earth crust and stuff, like, so it's like not all accumulated. It's not like a big body of water that is, sorry, my computer's doing weird shit. It's not like a big body of water like an ocean in itself. It's just like, throughout, dispersed or something. That's what I heard anyway. I don't know if it's the same story. Correct me if I'm wrong. How have I not heard about Agartha? All this time you guys are sending me this stuff for like the past year and a half. I've never heard of Agartha. So now I have to look into that more. Or send me some Agartha stuff on my Discord or TikTok or Instagram, wherever.
Everybody still kind of has in their mind the money in your bank account is your money, that they're holding it for you.
Right.
But that's not what's going on. And if you ever actually read like the contract that you sign, that's not what it is. You're loaning money to the bank and they owe that money to you. But they don't have to give it to you. You could walk into the bank tomorrow and you could go, I'd like to take out $2,000, and they can say, no, you can't have it. Now, they owe it to you, technically, but they don't have to give it to you. They're not just holding it for you to give to you on demand. The system hasn't collapsed, so they will give that to you today. So let's say you open in the account with $100. Now there's another guy who takes out a loan for $90. You think you have $100 and he thinks he has $90, but there's not $190. There's only $100. You get what I'm saying? And here's where it gets even crazier than that. This guy doesn't just hold his $90. He goes and puts it in the bank. And so the bank holds 10% of that money and then loans out 90% of that to somebody else. So when you actually look at the effect of it, there's like not nearly as much money in the bank as we all think we have. Essentially, if everybody came into the bank and said, we'd like to withdraw our money, there's nowhere near enough money for them to give you. So inherently, the whole thing is kind of a house of cards.
Yeah, that's so crazy that in order to operate, banks have to depend on people not wanting to withdraw their money. I need to open a bank, man. I need to... Why do I not have a bank? Reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life, that old Christmas movie where he's like, the bank's gonna close. Where they couldn't pay everybody back until the end. I feel like I've always known that, like, without looking into it, just because of that movie. Because I remember, like, why don't they just give them all their money back? Because they didn't have the money, because it's a freaking bank. It's a dumb impression.
They're just like us, and they're afraid of things. I asked the teacher why the 12 whites were afraid of me, and she explained it to me by saying, well, this is your planet. You understand everything here. You can eat anything. If you get in trouble, you can lay out there in the weeds and heal yourself the way the Indians did. She had seen it. If you needed help, you could ask any human. If you wanted to, if you can lift stuff, you're properly proportioned. You can lift rocks and do anything. But if they're even stung by a bumblebee, have to have immediate medical help or they die. The extraterrestrials that I routinely interacted with never once cared about the whales. the thing about humans that stood out was that we interacted with the animals way, way more than most intelligent beings. What happens is that the one species becomes intelligent and then kills off any animal that might be a danger to them.
I mean, we're not much different in that sense. We're definitely getting rid of lesser species on the food chain. We've caused a lot of, or at least helped cause a lot of extinctions events with different animals since we've been around, or since it's been so prominent, I guess. And that makes sense. I mean, I hate bugs. I hate bugs so much. I'm terrified of spiders, and I shouldn't be, because I could kill any spider, you know, that comes near me if I wanted to. And I understand that, but like, they still freak me out. So I could see like aliens being somewhat like hesitant to really interact with us, you know? But I do think that's a funny thing to think about. Somebody like so far superior to us, someone that has the ability to zap us, you know, like abduct us from our room and, you know, erase our memory like it never happened. Like people with some species or being that has that technology to be like afraid to like actually come face to face with us. But maybe it is something like the movie Science, where it's just something as small as like water. You know, they're afraid of that. Like that's how you beat them. Or something as small as like, sure, they're super superior, but like they don't have the immune systems we do, right? So just like a very small wound, and then they're like biology not being familiar and not been built over years to sustain its health, you know, and kind of fight off infections and stuff. Maybe a paper cut could take out an alien, you know? I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Yeah, I don't think I have to comment on the video to tell you how I think about that. I mean, just based on what we do here on this channel, I think you know where I stand on that.
About that bill that's being passed in Tennessee right now regarding lettuce. It's really terrifying.
Okay.
At the University of California, they have figured out a way to put human vaccines within vegetables.
Why? Dude.
And so the whole bill is basically trying to label different vegetables, which ones have vaccines and which ones don't, so that people are allowed to choose. Because apparently they're trying to roll it out without telling anyone the difference of this one has a vaccine and this one does not have a vaccine.
What are we doing? Why is this even a conversation?
I don't know. Stop putting vaccines in vegetables, please.
Quit touching the food. The food's fine.
That's why I don't eat vegetables. Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they could do it sneakily, they'll do it sneakily.
Yeah, they probably have already been doing it.
Bro.
And now they're just kind of like, wait a second. Yeah, we just figured out how to do this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you got to let us know which ones you're putting in. They're like,
lettuce.
yeah, make a
lettuce.
Let us know.
I don't know what that means, but it scares me.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I had to think though, how's that profitable? If the whole thing these past couple years with the mandates, I hope this video does not get demonetized or pulled down. That would suck. My first video back in a while for these topics, but whatever. If all that was done to like, I mean, whether it be population control or something that might be a little more believable to a wider audiences, you know, for profits, right? Like the mandates and stuff these past couple of years. If they put the stuff in food, how is that profitable? 'Cause I don't think the produce companies are going to pay them a ton of money. That they would have to probably pay the produce companies a ton of money. I mean, unless Bill Gates, it's all his stuff, then, you know, who knows at that point. But why? Why? What's the gain from putting them in freaking vegetables, man? It's stupid.
A single writing left behind from Atlantis. They didn't do cuneiform writing into stones. They probably had paper, and they probably had digital records. Digital. The reason I say that is that we've found some really weird artifacts in the Mediterranean over the last 100 years. There was an artifact found off of Greece that has mechanical components in it that don't make sense.
This is the one Michio Kaku talked about. This was down at the bottom of the Mediterranean.
That's it.
Around 1900 or so, there was a shipwreck off the coast of Greece, and divers found an instrument encrusted in coral. It looked like a piece of junk, But when they cleaned it, they realized, no, it's a machine that is 2,000 years old. And then they took x-rays of it, and they realized it's a computer. My God, a computer. They think a computer that was supposed to be a gift to Julius Caesar. But the ship sunk.
So I was talking to my friend Ben. It's a really good friend of mine. His dad is an archaeologist. And Ben is we've watched some videos together, some of these things, some Y-Files videos and things like that. And he's very skeptical because obviously Ben's a very well-educated man, super smart dude. And he is not on board with most conspiracies, right? Because he believes in the mainstream scientific explanation for things. And he was describing this to me and said it was basically I guess it's thought to be to calculate star movement, planet movements and things like that. And I guess it's simpler. It's a more simple device than what people are making it out to be or something. I don't know. It was a big deal, for people at that time to have this technology, but it's not as the people are making it out to be like a computer, like the MacBook I'm recording this video on right now, or I'm going to edit it on later. It's not a computer like that. So not to downplay it at all. It's still crazy. It's still pretty indescribable how these people had this at this time based on technology of it. But yeah, I mean, man, they got to church it up. It's conspiracy theory, dude. People gotta sex it up a little bit and make it a little bigger than it is, which I'm cool for that. It makes it fun for me too.
I personally believe this is one of the most important scientific discoveries of all time. I am really shocked that we don't even learn this in school. This is some next level stuff, and it was verified to be true. Dr. Masaru Emoto, and what he discovered was, when you speak to the water and you say certain things like, I love you, or, you're my friend.
Or beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful,
yeah.
Angel. It could be simple, just like angel, happiness, peace. When you say these positive words to the water and then you freeze it, it makes beautiful shapes.
Most of the time they're symmetrical. They look like
you Google images. They have photos of this.
They look like snowflakes, like beautiful symmetrical snowflakes.
Now, when you say mean, nasty words to the water, and then they freeze the water, it would make ugly, repulsive shapes.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah, like cracks and looks like damage.
Bubbles.
And he basically proved that your consciousness and your will combined with the intention behind your words affects reality. It's like the concept that your words are magic. So much so that you change physical reality.
Yeah, it is quite literally proof that the things that come out of your mouth
change reality,
affect your physical surroundings.
So that just reminds me of a quote actually from Bruce Lee. I think he said this back in the 70s or something. And he said, don't say, I'm going to butcher this. This is not verbatim by any means, but he said, in a nutshell, don't say bad things about yourself, even if you're joking, because your body doesn't know the difference. And that's pretty crazy because he said that back in the 70s, and it probably came from his religion. Whether I don't know if he was Buddhist or Tao or whatever he was, but yeah, it's a very famous quote from Bruce Lee that he said 50 years ago or something, maybe before this research came out. So I don't know, man. Ancient wisdom, baby. They knew stuff. They knew stuff that we're just now able to prove and figure out, right, through testing. I wasn't going to say testing. I was going to say something else, but I couldn't think of it. So,
15 major theological religious movements in the world before Christianity that taught exactly the same identical story of a Messiah who came to the earth, who was born in a manger, who died on a cross, who had 12 apostles, who died with a crown of thorns. Are you aware that there were 15 major religions that had the same identical teachings of Christianity? Most people aren't. And I'm very suspect of a 16th religion, which is copied off of 15 previous religions, and I am told that this one is the truth. I become very suspect. Of course, God's Son, S-U-N, the Egyptians said had an evil brother. He was the Prince of Darkness, and he came out at night to rule the world. When God's Son died and went away, the world was in the hands of the Prince of Darkness, and his name was Set, and he came out at sunset. The Egyptians said that that newborn son that came up every morning, his name was Horus. In Easter, we have Easter sunrise services, or Horus Rising. That's where we get the word horizon. I'm saying that there are 15 major religions in the world before Christianity that have taught the same thing. It is a very ancient, old story. That's why the Bible's called the greatest story ever told.
I mean, every religion, not every, but I think all the main religions are just derivatives of sun worship, right? I think people just worship the sun back in the day. So those video clips that were going along with what the guy was saying were actually from an old movie called Zeitgeist from the documentary filmmaker Peter Joseph. I remember I watched this back in like 2008, 2009 with my roommates. He made 3 different ones. The first one was about like religion, stuff like that, and the I can't remember what the second one. I think the second one was about like banking systems and government, and the third one was about like control or something like that. They're cool movies. Over the years, I've heard that they're not all necessarily accurate. All the stuff that's portrayed and shown in these videos, and they're older. They're from like the early 2000s, so you know they're over like 20-year-old videos or something. So I'm sure that we've got more information since then that would disprove some of that stuff. But real interesting stuff. Check them out. I'm not a religious person at all, so I can come in with an open mind and say, I mean, they're all based on some sort of event, right? Similar events or even the same event. So it doesn't matter what you call it. If it is a god, it doesn't matter what you call him. If you call him God, he's God, right? Or if it's just sun worship. You know, I could see people back in the day not understanding, just knowing like, oh, the sun keeps us warm. The sun allows stuff to grow. The sun is giving life, the life bringer, whatever. So I could just see, you know, stuff like that broken down into little stories and tales and fables to make it easy to remember and pass down and make it more relatable and stuff, just like I think most stories are from, you know, ancient civilizations and stuff. I think a lot of it is not necessarily supposed to be taken so literal, and I think that we take things super literal and it turns into something like a religion. So I don't know.
You ever bring any like children into the Bohemian Grove? No.
Except the guys that are horny, they go into town, and during the encampment, there's all a few girls up there in town, prostitutes.
Okay.
I'm going undercover with a hidden camera to meet with a Bohemian Grove member. He's been with the Satanic Club for almost half a century. Now click the link in my tweet to help fund this operation. With these funds, I'm going to travel the entire country and confront every single member on the Bohemian Grove list. I call it Operation Owl's End. Wish me luck. I'm going dark.
So what actually happens at the cremation of care?
Well, that's an old, wonderful thing. His name is we're cremating care. You're up here to put the care behind you. We're going to kill care. So this is the thing that God knows when it started.
Fire shall have its will of thee. Be gone, don't care.
I mean, it's very elaborate. You've got people going around with capes and stuff, and bad guys and good guys. Yeah. Probably 125 people that are participating in this whole thing. In the end, after everybody comes in singing songs and doing all sorts of things, and they cremate care. They go up to this lake, and in the lake is this magnificent sculpture of the owl. The owl is the symbol of the Bohemian Club.
So I've said this before, and I had some people say I was like a government plant or something because I said it. Because, of course, people, if you disagree with them, they're, you know, I don't know, not everybody, but some people are just like, you're disproving something I believe, or you don't agree with something I believe, so you're here to make me not believe it. That's not the case at all. I don't give a shit what you believe. With that being said, I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing, Bohemian Grove, for the simple fact that it is so public and it is like pretty much out in the open. Like, I mean, it's on like an island, and like you're not allowed to go there. It's like a private property or something. But the fact that we know so much about it, and it's so open, and they're still doing it, makes me think that it's harmless. You know, it's not like the Bilderberg meetings or a host of other, you know, things that we don't get access to. You know, I'm sure the really bad, nefarious stuff is like not known about. I think if this was bad, like someone's island per se, I don't want to say his name because YouTube, but you know, that stopped thankfully as soon as everyone found out about it, because it was terrible. And I think in this case, if it was bad, they would have stopped once it became public, because they wouldn't. It would have to be a secret. But this right here, I think, is just like a fraternity, like a bunch of dudes, just rich guys going out. And I've never heard like killing care before, or burning care or whatever. what he said before this, but I think that's probably just like a metaphor for just like going out there, doing like a little fun fraternity like style ritual, and getting rid of their cares, right? Just kind of resetting and just like being however long this festival was, like 3 days or something that they're out there, or like a week. I have no idea. I need to learn more about this, but it makes me think that it's just a bunch of dudes like going to, you know, forget their lives, their busy day-to-day lives. They're a bunch of rich dudes that probably run companies and have super busy lives with, you know, 5 wives and 23 girlfriends and 6 kids they don't pay for and a host of other things. So that's how I feel about it. I don't know. I think anything that we don't know a lot about and we don't get a lot of access to, we're going to be kind of skeptical of and kind of like taken back by, because we like, why is it a secret? You know, what are you hiding? Like, maybe nothing, dude. You know, maybe everything. Who knows? But that's how I feel about this, because if it was super bad, I don't think they would still be doing it so openly.
These tablets, housed in museums across the world, speak of the Anunnaki, deities from the heavens who arrived on Earth some 450,000 years ago from a distant planet known as Nibiru. As they descended upon a young Earth, the Anunnaki found a world in chaos. Earth, they believed, was formed from the remnants of a cosmic collision with a celestial body named Tiamat. The debris of this cataclysmic event, they say, gave birth to our planet, with Mars as a silent witness. In their quest to mold the world to their needs, the Anunnaki turned to genetic modification. They sought to create a race of workers, blending their DNA with that of existing hominids. The genesis of this experiment birthed Adam, the first of mankind. It is said they installed a worship gene within us, a genetic compass directing humanity's reverence towards them. The concept of the God gene suggests that human beings might be genetically predisposed to spirituality and religious experiences. A particular gene called VMAT2 influences a person's inclination towards spiritual or mystical experiences. VMAT2 is a protein that helps regulate the flow of neurotransmitters in the brain. Variations in the VMAT2 gene can affect levels of these neurotransmitters, potentially enhancing an individual.
I mean, honestly, would that be that surprising? I mean, as humans, we do have a inclination for, you know, groupthink, group mentality, finding something to follow, you know, finding someone to worship, finding something to kind of fall in line behind and have lead us. So I could see an alien race like doing that in order to like keep us in check, you know, like mess with our psyche and our biology to where like we are very dependent on things. That would explain, you know, why like religion and politics and like the media and everything else just has the ability to kind of sway our emotions and our thoughts into like, you know, groupthink so much. So it's wild. I wouldn't doubt it. It's pretty wild though.
How long he works, and I don't care what he does. There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists.
That's it, man. I've never cared so much about sports. I mean, I grew up obviously watching like the 90s Bulls, so that was super fun, super cool. Everyone in the world was invested then, so I get the appeal of it. but I've never been super into sports to the point to where like I keep up on all the players and what they're making and their stats and stuff like that. Even though I do combat sports myself, you know, I'm technically an athlete. I don't follow like the UFC like that either. You know, I'll watch fights, but I can't tell you like people's records or anything because it's just not been that important to me. But I see people, and I'm sure you have as well, that are just like fully invested. All they talk about is sports all day. Like their life revolves around it. When their team loses, they talk about it like they lost. Like it like completely just like will ruin someone's day if their team loses, or just give them like they'll have the best day ever if their team wins. And that's without even like betting on it or like gambling. It's just like their emotional attachment to this team and the sport. And that's just embedded, you know, in their minds to be like that. I mean, we're in a society, we're brought up to, you know, have so little free time to do what we want, between like being wage slaves and just working our butts off for, you know, 8, 10, 12, you know, hopefully not ever 15 hours a day, but it happens. And then, you know, we have errands to run and we don't have a lot of free time. So the only joy that a lot of us get is like living vicariously through other people and just attaching ourselves to something and associating ourselves with something greater than ourselves. And unfortunately that falls down to, you know, sports or pop culture, or like celebrity reality and, you know, celebrity reality shows and stuff like that. And it's crazy. And it's very sad that people just apply their entire, you know, personality to things that have nothing to do with them. And that like their entire day can be ruined because someone else did something or had a bad game or, you know, cheated on their boyfriend or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, man, so long as you allow your emotions to be affected by external sources, like you're always going to be at the mercy of things outside of yourself. And it happens. It happens to all of us. You know, we're all become upset about things that we can't control, but at my core, I've always tried to only allow things that are within my control to really affect me in a way, and just enough to like wake me up and you know, urge me or motivate me to try to fix it. Because I mean, there's been so many things happening that are out of my control that it could just rip my brain apart. I mean, just for instance, these past few months, man. I mean, I used to make a video every day for you guys, and then it cut down to like, you know, a couple a week, and that was fine. And at that point, I just got burnt out. Then I started up again, and then I stopped again, I started up again, I started off again. And it's not for you guys. It's not cool for me, obviously, because I love doing this. And this is, you know, kind of how I make my living outside of, you know, little jobs on the side and stuff. But I've had a lot of family health issues with multiple people in my family over these past couple months, like 4 people all at the same time. And on top of that, I was in a motorcycle accident and just so many bad things going on, right? These past couple months that have really made it hard for me to keep up on this stuff. I'm only telling you this because I appreciate you guys, and I feel like you deserve an explanation.
Margin than there are in Europe or Egypt. In fact, the Smithsonian was caught stealing mummies. There are more mummies found in America in this time frame by a gigantic margin than there are in Europe or Egypt. In fact, the Smithsonian was caught stealing mummies from Colorado and shipping them to Europe. And the deeper you go, the crazier the things they find. 17 miles northeast of Manchester is a prehistoric cavern in which wonderful discoveries have lately been made. They're on a farmer's land in Ohio. The ground shapes downward into this weird depression in his land. What they find when they remove the rocks covering the bottom of this depression is a tunnel into a underground tomb. It contains 9 chambers or rooms. They find a well in one of these chambers, and 45 feet from the top of that well, they found the entrance to a second cavern, which proved to be the family tomb of a race of gigantic men.
Yeah, it's insane. Even a single human statue, if you asked anybody on the street, has that ever been found in America, they'd probably say no.
I mean, I have to think that, I mean, you figure this landmass that America's on, this continent, is as old as all the other ones, right? And we know that there have been similarities between all the different kinds of tribes and civilizations over the years with similar drawings, hieroglyphs. There's a petroglyph, I think. Is that a thing? Is that something similar? I don't know. But pyramids and all kinds of stuff, right? So you have to think, like, it would make sense that we would also find similar rituals, like burial rituals and preservation rituals of the deceased and mummies and whatnot, too. I'm pretty sure people say they found a bunch of, like, Egyptian tombs and whatnot in the Grand Canyon. That's like a theory that's out there that is it's pretty crazy, but honestly not very surprising at all. It just makes me wonder, like, has this stuff been around as long as like Pangea? Like, do we have civilizations that were around back then when like the Earth was just one big landmass, just, you know, on water? Because that would be interesting. And say like the pyramids are actually like that old. I don't know. Just got my brain working again. It's crazy.
There are two questions I have to ask.
Go ahead.
The first one's kind of fun. Aliens. I want to talk to you about aliens.
Yeah.
UFOs, UAPs.
I know.
The disclosure we've seen in Congress recently. It's confusing and upsetting a lot of Americans because there's something happening. There are unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
So it's such a question I do get a lot, and it's such an interesting question. I've met with pilots that look just like you, actually. Okay, they have more of a crew cut. Okay, they look like him and they look like you. Some of them look like you,
a little fatter.
But these are perfect people.
Okay,
and they're not
crazy.
Conspiratorial. They're not crazy.
Yeah.
And they tell me stories that they've seen things that you wouldn't believe. These are not people that you would say, "Gee, oh, that's
no
okay."
way. President of the United States.
But
I said,
who is it? That's Joe Biden wanting to do an interview. So I've met with pilots like beautiful Tom Cruise, but taller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Handsome, perfect people. Sir, there was something there that was round in form and going like 4 times faster than my super jet fighter plane. And I look at these guys and they really mean it.
Yeah.
And am I a believer? No, I can't say I am. But I have met with people that are serious people that say there's some really strange things that they see flying around out there. And, if you go to Nevada and you look at that little section of where they go to look at the aliens, where they think all the aliens are landing, that, it's I think it's maybe the number one tourist attraction in the United States.
Roswell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roswell. I think it's the number one. It's the lines of people waiting. You have no idea how many times I'm asked that question.
But don't you have access to that information?
I have access, and I speak to people about it. I've had actually meetings on it, and they will tell you there's something going on. When they say things are going 4 times faster than my beautiful top-of-the-line airplane that goes, real fast.
With no identifiable propulsion
Mach
system.
2,
Yeah.
right?
These things are creating their own gravity fields, allegedly.
Well, they have people that are very smart and very solid have said they believe there is something out there. And, it makes sense that there could be. I've never been convinced, even despite that. I just, for some reason, it's not my thing. But a lot of people believe that it's true. A lot of very good, solid people believe it's true.
What? And
I know there are illegal aliens out there, but those are the ones that come through the border. We have plenty of them. Those are the ones I know. When you say aliens, I say, are they illegal aliens? These might be illegal, but we don't want to test them.
Yeah.
Because if they can go 4 times faster, we're not going to test them. So it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I always think it's so interesting that people at like high levels like that, who honestly probably can't say anything, even if they wanted to, right, tend to like to dance around the truth. It seems like he was like, I don't believe in it personally, winking, but I know people that I trust, people that know better than I do, people that are in the right state of mind, they're not manic, they're not crazy, and they believe in them. So you're going to take my word for it, someone who doesn't believe and probably can't, doesn't believe and can't tell you even if I do, or the people that even I trust more than my own opinion. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. I'm sure a lot of them are, like government spacecrafts, secret space programs or just airplanes, just like military like test vehicles and whatnot. Because you figure, man, like military technology is so much beyond what we're given in the public. It's crazy. I don't know exactly how far ahead they said they were, but I think like they were like 20 years ahead back in like the 90s or probably 60s. I don't know. I'm butchering that, but I just know like it's way ahead of us. So a lot of it could probably most definitely even be just, secret projects, secret military projects. But I think a lot of it, I'm obviously a believer in, aliens and stuff. I like to think that that would be what they were, but yeah, maybe a small portion of them are aliens, but I don't know. What do you think?
Everybody's moving in the back room. We're waiting for the sun to rise. We move a little closer in the back room, feeling deeper because we know it's our time. Everybody's moving in the back room. We're waiting for the sun to rise. We move a little closer in the back room, feeling deeper because we know it's our time. Digital, erasure, acid, facial.
Okay, so first reaction to that would be like lizard people, right? Or aliens in disguise or whatnot. Maybe. Hope not. But I think in a lot of cases, it's literally just like celebrities having mental breakdowns, right? We know that old rock stars and stuff were like given like drugs and stuff in order to like keep going on tour, you know, given drugs that, you know, keep them like docile and keep them, you know, awake so they can just consistently tour and be on the road. And, you know, they're going to like autograph signings, interview, live show, recording studio. They're just go. And I think at some point all that like wears you down and makes you crazy, right? Like you kind of lose your mind a little bit, and you know, you can have health issues, strokes, whatever. So I think in a lot of cases, like with Katy Perry, we've seen Britney Spears break down. You know, back in the day, she shaved her head, and then now she's just like an insane person on Instagram. But yeah, I think it just wears on him, man. As far as like the politicians and whatnot with the weird stuff, like who knows, man. I mean, who honestly knows, dude? Who knows? I know there's a study that just came out recently from some prestigious university saying that the possibility of aliens hiding amongst us, like Men in Black style, are fairly high. So I don't know how serious that's being taken, but I've seen it shared a lot. I haven't read the article yet. Just, you know, memes. That's how I get my news nowadays, are memes. Probably like the rest of us. But yeah, look into that. Which I'm sure that wouldn't surprise you if that was the case after all the stuff that we've seen up to this point.
Guys, in the creative society, the issue of disease and aging will be completely solved. Now, how is that possible? Thanks to a technology that extends human life beyond the species limit. In the creative society, every person will have access to a health capsule absolutely free of charge. This capsule can extend a person's life to at least 1,500 years, restoring youth, health, in even older people. Take a look. Now, each home will have a capsule just like this, right? And the health restoration procedure will take only a few minutes and be entirely painless. I don't know about you guys, but I personally have tons of family that have experienced tons of pain from the healthcare system currently. And it is essentially designed to keep people in their current state and just continue getting rid of the symptoms, so to speak. But with this, your health will be so robust that a person will have the ability to climb Mount Everest if they wanted to, and that's even without a mask or oxygen, if they desire.
Cool. I want one. Send me, I'm ready.
Their state of health will enable them to achieve records that are currently considered impossible. And this is an absolute reality. Life extension is simply a matter of physiochemical processes. Today, there are already fundamental studies that are the first steps in developing this technology, proving that living for 1,500 years is possible. We present a movie after which all of this will no longer seem like a science fiction movie to you.
It's just an adrenochrome shower. You just get in it, and it's just like fucking like baby foreskins. I'm sorry. I was just thinking of that Sandra Bullock clip. She was talking about like how her face cream has foreskins in it. What? To like keep the de-aging process. And what's the science behind this? I mean, this guy's making a lot of claims. Is this from a movie? Is this satire? Is this... I don't know. There's a website. I didn't visit it. If you guys want to visit it and tell me in the comments or in the Discord what they're talking about, be my guest. It sounds very far-fetched to me. And also the sustainability. Like, what would the sustainability be? Like, to live for 1,500 years. I would love it, personally. I would absolutely love it. I would love to see where the world is at 1,500 years from now, assuming it's still here at the current rate. Who knows? But yeah, as far as like being provided food, resources, money, like whatever you need to survive through that like 1,500 years, I guess in like a socialist society, which I'm not for socialism. That's not my bag. Cool if it is yours, I guess. That could work, I guess. Like everyone just like living, not above their means and being provided for. People could live for 1,500 years. And I'm assuming with that kind of technological advancement to where we just like regenerate our bodies by standing in a phone booth, that on top of that, like agriculture and food and just everything would be also so incredibly superior to where it is now, to where, we wouldn't have an issue with like food or population, population eating our resources or space. I'm assuming by the point this happens, we will also be like a multi-planet species. Or maybe just live in like space stations just to get some of the population, out and make more room for more people. But I don't know. This is obviously not, at least to my knowledge, as easy as he's saying it is. Just everybody will have a test tube. A lot. Everyone will have a giant test tube in their home that they can you feel a little sick, just stand in the test tube. Boom. There you go. And now you're 15 years old again for 4 days. And then you rapidly age to age 60 and keep the process going, or however it works. I don't know.
I've been finally given permission to discuss the work that I do on a contractor basis with a government agency regarding the investigation, research, and development of what's called a temporal adjudicator. I'm putting some of the schematics up, and this is an incredibly rare and interesting picture of the portal that is created by the adjudicator. Basically, the adjudicator not only allows someone to move through time in actually a very limited sense. You can't go incredibly far into the future, and you can't go very, very far back either way, but you can go essentially a few years in either direction. They're allowing this to happen, especially on the social media platform, not on anything that is sort of mainstream in terms of media outlets, because, well, they really have a policy, whether it's UAPs and aliens or something like Temporal Adjudicator, of telling the truth. And what they bank on, what they completely expect, is that it will be dismissed, ridiculed, marginalized, ignored, and they still then have the moral stance that they have told the truth, and you guys just didn't believe it. So that's why I'm not going to spend any time trying to convince anybody of its veracity. I'm just telling you about my experience. So here's me going through it. And what's interesting about it is not only can it go forward and backwards in time a few years, it can actually go anywhere in your current timeline in terms of location. So it basically eliminates the need for trains, planes, and automobiles. You can basically go to, this beach in the Maldives, anywhere you want to go. It's simply an adjustment on the adjudicator technology that allows you to go. I mean, that's actually how the technology first got developed, was trying to just simply create a technology that allowed essentially like a Star Trek beam me up Scotty, transferring someone from one place to another.
I was finally given permission to screwed up. That's trash, right? That's VFX. Like, that's not real at all. This would not be on TikTok if this was real. This would not be on TikTok. No government agency or government funded agency project is going to allow this kind of information to be released. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that if our country or another country had this kind of technology where they could just like, Back to the Future, punch in a date or a location and just come through a portal and be there, there's no way they would let that information get out to other countries. They would be using that to their advantage to dominate the world. They're not going to let some guy put it on TikTok. Those are special effects. I don't care what anybody says. This may very well be possible. This may be possible, but this instance is not. There's no way. There's no way. And that dude is not alive anymore, if that is real. I'm just going to put it out there. If this is real, rip, buddy.
Here, y'all. It's a dragon. Here's his head. Working on something here. On his nose. This piece right here. There's his wings. There's his wing right there. And then this is a wing appendage. It's cracked right here. It's got 3 feathers. See that? His claws on the other side, but here's his head, man. Up close. See that? That red skin. Here's the underside of his mouth. Just like it should look. Here's the back of his head. Just like Godzilla would look. And there's his claw. That claw right there. See it? Look at that.
My brother in Christ, congratulations. You found a rock. I mean, maybe. Honestly, I don't know. I was watching something the other day that basically said, not that I'm like a religious person and stuff, but I do feel that like old religious texts do have some, truth to them based on, eyewitness account stories, whatever it may be. And I guess dragons are, talked about quite a bit, and dinosaurs were not talked about until a long time after, like very recently in history, in comparison to the amount of time dragons were spoken of. So yeah, I think dragons existed. I think that dinosaurs probably survived, probably existed along the time of some humans, potentially. I don't know. Or maybe some dinosaur-like species or beings that people call dragons. I don't know. I know like alligators have been around. They're technically dinosaurs, right? Birds. Maybe the Loch Ness Monster is a dinosaur. Who knows?
Remember when the ship crashed into the Baltimore bridge? Why on earth is a crew still on it? 21 people for the last 2 months. And their phones are confiscated. Make this make sense. The day after the bridge collapsed, suspiciously, Biden came out and said, no investigation necessary. The U.S. government will pay for the bridge. Shortly thereafter, the insurance company came out and said, we'll pay out too. In what world does the U.S. government and insurance company pay out immediately without an investigation? Nothing to see here. Don't go digging around. Maui is still dealing with the debris removal and fighting with insurance companies 10 months later. But the bridge? No problem. Let's just pay it out. And then, now we find out that the 21 members of the crew are stuck on the ship, not allowed to leave, trapped, and their phones have been confiscated. Why are they prisoners? The news says they can't leave the ship because of visa restrictions. What? We let ungodly amount of people through the border without visas, but now it's a problem? The conspiracy theorists said cyber attack. Government quickly said accident. What's really going on here?
Oh, dude, I don't trust any of this stuff, man. The stuff that I've heard, which hasn't been much, I surprisingly haven't been sent too much stuff about the Baltimore Bridge. If you have more, feel free to send it my way. But it just doesn't add up, man. It's like the power was going in and out. I don't know. It didn't seem right. But I also seen someone say something about like if the power did go out and the crew was trying to manually turn the ship, it would take a very long time to get those rudders to actually turn manually. So who knows? I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I mean, if you do, I mean, let me know in the comments or send me some more stuff, because it just doesn't it doesn't seem to add up, man. But none of this stuff really does ever, though. I don't believe any of what I'm told 100% when it comes to any of this stuff.
Everybody's moving in the back room. We're waiting for the sun to rise. We move a little closer in the back room, feeling deeper because we know it's our time. Everybody's moving in the back room. We're waiting for the sun to rise. We move a little closer in the back room, feeling deeper because we know it's our time. Digital erasure acid.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any. You can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing any.
I've had this discussion many times on this channel. I am not a flat earther. I don't believe the Earth is flat. I think it's a donut. I think it's a torus. It's shaped like a donut. No, I'm just joking. I don't think it's flat. I don't think there's the firmament. I think that it is I said firmament. I can't even talk today. Why am I doing this? Why am I recording this video right now? I don't think we're in a snow globe. Okay, I think like the Earth is round. Likely, I think that it's very harsh conditions through the atmosphere. I do know, and it is actually well known, that anytime like people are sent to ISS or whatever, they're actually in low Earth orbit. They're not actually in outer space. They're actually in low Earth orbit, which is still technically within the confines of Earth, I guess, from what I understand, which makes it kind of weird that we went to the moon after that's actually admitted by the scientists and stuff that we've only ever been in low Earth orbit. So that is weird. I give it that much, but I don't think the Earth is flat. And I think people misunderstand, really just don't comprehend how large the Earth is. Like even from up in a plane, like it would look flat. The Earth is massive. So I think that's like a common misconception. People are too hung up on not being able to see that the Earth is round, so they don't think it's round from any sort of altitude they've been to. So that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's right. That's just what I think. I know a lot of you guys that watch and are very supportive of the channel are flat earthers, and I love that we can agree to disagree on topics without you guys wanting to tear me limb from limb.
You died very recently? Is your headstone close by? Tongue terror. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Am I going the right direction? Cross the road? Okay. Okay. We're going. Go north? Huh. Okay. Is it this direction? Just make sure you tell me when to stop. Cemetery, yes. Can you give me your name, if you don't mind? That gift. Thank you so much. Sarah, hello. One ghost detected. We must stay. Hurting. I'm so sorry. Tyler. Hi, Tyler. Is your headstone this way? You said go north. This is north. Eugene and Tyler. Am I in the right area?
They mean you harm.
They mean me harm. Listen, I don't mind talking to good or bad spirits, okay? Dark spirit. This is sacred ground, you guys. 100% dark spirit. Tyler or Eugene? Do not go. Do you not want me to go any further?
Get out of here.
Tyler. Yo, Tyler. Is this you? Sure. Thank you for showing us where your headstone is.
All right, guys. I need you to say it with me. And 3, 2, 1. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. Get me out of there. Get me out of there. There's no way. Spirit box. If that was the spirit box. So wait a minute. Okay, back up. I'll just back up. I don't do ghost stuff, by the way. If you're new here, I do not do ghost spooky nopes. Nope, no things. Nope things. I don't do the nope things. Spirit boxes normally aren't that clear. It's like, and just finds different channels to spout out, different frequencies until it catches like a word or something in the middle of a bunch of different broadcasts. But what the hell was that? Was he like on a walkie-talkie? Because it seemed like it was like a spirit box, but it was very quiet. Do they have spirit boxes that like aren't as staticky? I don't know. But nonetheless, no thank you, Eugene. No thank you, Tyler. I appreciate you coming, but keep your ass underground, buddy.
Space Force put out another cryptic message. So you know how on Ingersoll Lockwood Incorporated, if you zoom in and click on that little ET, it'll take you straight to the UAP reports, right? Unidentified aerial phenomenon. Well, there's always been this white rabbit link at the bottom of the page that takes you to a cryptic message. Check it out when you click this.
Winds in the east, mist coming in. Like something is brewing, about to begin. Can't put me finger on what lies in store. I feel what's to happen. All happened before.
In case you don't know who Ingersoll Lockwood is, he's the author of those two books, Barron Trump's Underground Journey and The Last President, that freakily go along with President Trump. And we know President Trump declared Space Force the 6th military branch. And Wernher von Braun warned of a false flag alien invasion, and how we would know it's coming is when they weaponized space. Ingersoll Lockwood isn't the only person who scripts the future in books, because we have Wernher von Braun's Project Mars, which the main character in this book who colonizes Mars is a character named Elon. Of course, you know Wernher von Braun's headstone has Psalms 19:1 on it, which says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the dome of the sky speaks the work of his hands." And Elon Musk is like, "Hey, I can't get through the firmament. Does anyone want to buy SpaceX?" And he posted this saying, "As close as you can get to space while being in a glass dome." Boop. But could he be talking about the firmament? My honest opinion is history does repeat itself, and I think that Elon is the new character that Wernher von Braun once was. And look at their affiliates. Look who all Space Force and Ingersoll Lockwood is affiliated with. Wow. See a lot of peculiar things on that list. Ingersoll Lockwood Incorporated and Space Force have been putting cryptic messages in for the last year, showing us that something's coming, but now that the eclipse is on the way, I mean, could it have something to do with it? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's hard to know what Elon is being serious about. I like Elon. I think he's hilarious. He's a total meme lord, and he just likes to screw with people, right? So he could be hinting towards some things, but at the same time, he could just be like really just playing into, just people's fears and just memes and I can't even think of the word, but screwing with people. He likes to mess with people, likes to screw with people. As far as Space Force, having like that link to that video with that creepy song from that movie with that guy that I saw in another movie, I don't know. I know that Trump jokes with people a lot. I know his son Trump Jr. is like a big meme guy too. So maybe they're just really just like playing into it and leaning into everything that we're thinking just to screw with us. But at the same time, maybe they're, putting it out there for us to see, universal law. You have to, get people's permission. And if you tell them about it and they don't stop you, that's the same as them giving you permission. So you can do it, without repercussion and karma and all that stuff. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's pretty effing weird and crazy. But I don't know what's happening, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If this is your first time here, please like, subscribe, share, join the Discord, send me videos you want me to see. If you liked what you saw in this video, you can be a part of the next one. And if you are coming back Lucid Crew, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you sticking with me through all this time, all the ups and downs, and me disappearing and coming back again, and whatnot. Life is weird, and throughout all of that, I'm still making an effort to stick around and have fun with you guys and do more of this whenever I can and whenever you are available to join me and enjoy the experience together. So thank you again, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.